Okay, it's recording now. All right, so our class today is just going to be on Figma, and we introduce Figma as a tool and how we can use Figma to design our different interfaces. So for people who already have Figma on their laptop, they can just open Figma, or you can use Figma on web. But because of this course, it's not going to be harmful to just use the web to learn what you need to learn until you are able to have the desktop installed on your laptop. Then once you sign in, you can see it's showing here your profile details, your email, the theme you want to use in case you want to change it to light or dark mode. Once you click on this dark, it changes theme. Then if you want to use, some settings, which you might not have to go through here, then use community profile. Figma has a community. Once you click on there's this, the first icon you can see here is home. The next one is the community icon. So once you click on it, you can check on whatever resources. There are a lot of resources that Figma always have. So you can check, you can just browse through any of it. Let me just go through UI kits and see the different resources that people have already shared on Figma. So there are some that are free and there are some that are paid. So you can see different resources. Okay, see this particular one, a material UI for Figma. Once you click on it, it takes you to that particular resource, and then you can decide to open it in your own account. So you'll be able to see that particular resource. So there are thousands and millions of resources that are available for designers. So once you browse on any resource that you might want to use, you tend to open, like this is like a design system where you can see different inputs styling, but we don't necessarily have to go through each of them. It's just based on at your own feel. We can just keep on researching on different resources that Figma already has. It can also help in your design process. So back to this home. This is the community profile that I just spoke about. Then you can even add multiple accounts to your Figma desktop. It doesn't really matter. You can have multiple accounts like added to your Figma. So on this recent tab here, it shows the most recent profile projects you have been working on. So you can see the list of projects recently viewed, shared files. If you've actually shared any project with anybody, it shows the shared projects. Then on this next one, you can now see the different projects that you have. So I want to create a new Figma. Okay, before we get to the Figma, there are two types of new Figma we can create. We can create a design file, which is what we are going to be using for design. And this Fig Jam board, you can also create it for maybe if you want to design it like a flow chart, like designing your user journey. Let us click on it and see how it looks like. So you can see how it is. It's just for if you want to just create a very quick flow chart, you just click on this square and then you click on it. You can say login. The next flow chart can be, or this first one can be click dashboard. Then the next one can be login. Then you can now, maybe if you want to make a square shape, you check if user is signed in. Like, I don't know, during your UX process, you might want to create a quick flow chart on to a quick flow chart to kind of define the user's journey from the start of when they log in to when they perform a particular task. So this Figma can be used to, create a very simple flow chart. Then if you want to create a new design file, that is what we're doing today. You can click on this first option, design file. And then once you click on it, it creates a new design file. Then you can decide that you want to save it. Here it is untitled, meaning that you've not saved this file. So you can just double click on this untitled part, and then you now name it whatever you want to name it. So once you click on enters, the name changes. So on this is like a very blank design file. So you can see on this left panel here, it shows the amount of pages that you have. Then on this other side, it shows like, is there any problem?
Yeah, Munachi is saying she can't see your screen, so I think it's a network.
Okay. So on this right panel is like the properties of what of what you are creating. We are going to go through each of them gradually. So I've already introduced all these tools in our first class, but today we are going to design a very simple login screen so that you can see how we are making use of all these different tools we have here. So this is the screen I'm going to design for today. You can see it's really very simple. So we'll just copy and then you just paste it here. I like designing on a dark layout, but you can still leave it on the default. This is the default canvas. Okay, this middle part is what we call canvas. So whatever you are designing is going to be in this whole middle area, and this whole middle area is the canvas. So you can decide to leave your canvas default color to be like this, but personally I like changing it to be on a dark background. So you want to design is a sign up screen, and then it's for a mobile application. So if you want to design for mobile, you come to this down here, which is screen, and then you click on it. Once you click on it, it appears on this white panel you have here. And since you want to design for phone, that means you have to choose an option from this phone and from these phone frames. But if you want to design for tablets, you choose from tablets. If you want to design for desktop, you choose from desktop. But if it's for phone, you choose for phone, and then you can select any option you have. But I'll go with Android small. So once you click on the option, it just appears here. And you can see on selecting this frame, it's showing you the properties of this frame. The width here is 360. The height is 640. And then it's showing you that this fill here is the background, which is white. So you can decide that, okay, I don't want my my background to be white. I want it to be red. So as you are changing it, is reflecting immediately. If you want to change according to different types of colors, you can just be shifting this arrow on this down part and it's changing. But for this color, we are going to use white. So if you also want to, add a stroke to your frame, you can click on this plus stroke here, and then it's showing, okay, might not really be obvious because it's black. Let's change it to blue. Then if you want to increase the width, you can see the width of the stroke. It's really very obvious now. But for this class, we're not going to use any stroke currently. Then, since we are designing a login screen, we just rename our frame to be login. Our topic for today is introduction to Figma. So then, when you have created your frame, you can now start putting the text you want to put. You click on this your text, and then you say, on this first one, it says, hi there, find your job here. So um, we are going to just type the same thing. So you can see that now that we have typed it, now that we have typed it, is entirely different with what we have in our previous screen. So we are trying to change it to look like it. So once we click on this title, you can see the properties on this side. Here is showing Inter. And if I don't want to use Inter, I can decide to change my font type. So to like, I don't like this font type. So I can search for the one I want to use. For this class, I want to use Mango. So I click on Mango, and here it's still on regular. So I can change it to be semi-bold. Then it's 12. I want to make it bigger. Once I click on this arrow here, I can make it bigger. Now it's on 32. Then I want it to fit into this screen. Okay. So I want it to fit into the screen. So I will try to reduce the, because initially it was like this. And once I'm reducing, you can see that this width is changing according to the, but if I want to save time, I can just come here and type the width that I want, and it will just effect on its own. So then, sorry, can you give me a minute? I'll be with you guys shortly. Okay, so sorry for that glitch. Okay, so we are trying to make, you know, we are trying to remake what we have initially. So so you can just click on enter, and then it appears like this. So we can decide to change the color of this font, and currently is on black, entirely black. We can decide as we want it to be red, or I can just use a different type of black, and it's one two. And once it's on one two, it changes immediately. So once we are done with this title, the header one, we can now create the next, that's the subtitle, and then we click on this item. And we want to say something.
Sorry, how do you get the emoji?
Okay, you can browse, you can just browse, that's like waving hand, and then you just save it. You can see this copy here. Once it's copied, you come here, and then I think copied is, if it's desktop, control V, but I'm using Mac, so it's command V. So you can see it's copied already. You know what the font I used is Mango. So
Sorry, I did not see any man. Spell it, please.
sorry.
Can you spell out the manhole or type it out?
Okay. So you can see it now, right?
Okay.
All right. So if you want to create the second subtitle, you click on this title here, and then you click. So since you've styled a particular font, it will always take the styling of the previous one. So you might need to now restyle this, the next one you want to create. And for the subtitle, we want to make it a little bit smaller. So like 16, and we want to make it on a regular, not semi-bold again. We bring it up to regular. And then we want to change the font to maybe this particular font, and just shift adjust to wherever you want to adjust. So if you already have the code, you can just type in the code. And then once you are done, you can now continue with enter your email, and since you are trying to create the login screen. So once you are done, you now adjust it according to how you want it to be. You can see password. Then we can kind of increase this font. It's looking like it's too small. You can increase it to like, Okay, I'm with you guys. All right, so the next thing we now want to create is um the input. The next thing we now want to create is this input that we have here. You want to say something? Who is raising their hand? Okay. All right. So you can also increase the height of this particular, in case you want to increase the height. The default one here is 41. That's fine. Okay. The default one here is 41. If you want to increase the height, you can make it bigger, but we'll just leave it at the default. Then we are going to talk about using layouts in our feature classes, but I'm just going to be designing a very flat design for entirely beginners. Then as we progress in the class, we'll now start using different ways of designing. So for this particular class, once you click on this text, if you click on your options button, you can see that it's showing you the distance of this text to the frame. And on your left side, it's showing 18. Up here is 91, here is 42. So you want to make sure that every text that you're putting here is going to have the same, that is going to be aligned. But if you are maybe trying to is different, you select the text they are trying to align. So there are two texts here, and on this top here that you have position, this top side here you have position. Here is showing this first icon here is align left. So once you click on it, it's align left. But this middle one here is align vertical. It's align horizontal. So once you click on it, it's going to be at the center. This other one here is align right. You click on it, it will align right. Then if you want to change the styling of a particular text, here it's showing that it is left align. You can change it to right align, or you can change it to middle align. Whichever style you want to use, just like the way you do on your Microsoft Word. So these two texts won't align it to the left. So we click on this first icon here to align it to the left. And then everything is now on the same line, left aligned. So for this particular text, we want to we want to use 16 fonts, still the same mango. Like I said, you can either want to change. So most time, if you are designing an application, you can use a maximum of 2 different types of fonts, or you can just use one. So if you want to use 2 fonts, meaning that your title, your header one can have a different font, and it's going to be the same type of font all over your application. And then your subtitle cannot have a different font. But for the course of this class, we're going to use just one font throughout. So say for example that we want to use a different font for our head title. You can use something like this, and then once our subtitle can now be something like this. So it doesn't really matter, but you cannot use a maximum of cannot use greater than 2 fonts for an application so that it doesn't get really confusing for the users. So for the subtitle, you want to make a distance of 8. You can see once you click on your options button, it's giving you the distance of this second font to the first one, and here it's showing 10. So you can decide to move it closer to like 8. So it can be like, it will be very obvious that they are both together. Then this one is on 16. It's still regular. So once we are done with this particular heading, we now want to create the input tabs that we have. And then we come down here and click on this rectangle tool. You click on it, then you draw your rectangle. So for styling, you can say, I want the height to be 45. Then the width, since we are using this, is the distance of this text to the frame here is 18. That means this input tab also have to be 18. So on this right side is 21. That means we have to adjust the width. That is also going to be 18 on the right side. Then you can decide that we want our radius to be 5. So you come to this side here. Currently the radius is 0. You can see the corner radius. You can increase it to, we want it to be 5. Then the fill color is this, is ash. We want to change the fill to be white. So the code for white is usually FFFF. So if you just type 1F, it will just reflect. Then we want to add the outline color. Then since we are trying to redesign this particular interface, you can decide, okay, you can click on this particular color code, and then we can change whichever color we want to use. We can use blue. You can just use this as our primary color. Then we put the title of the input, which is username. So this username is still going to be the same mango, but we can reduce the font to be like 14. And we can make it to be semi-bold. And it's going to have the dark color. So it's kind of looking too close to this input. We can shift it up a bit to make it a little bit more balanced. Then we can just try to adjust it. This whole adjust it to everything can just go. Then most of the times, like, you have input field and then you have a placeholder. So you can see what happened here. Because we've created this rectangle first. If you want to move this text on top of this rectangle, it's now hidden. So for you to be able to bring this text on top of the rectangle, you right click on the text and then you select move to top, or and bring to front, and then it comes up. So once it comes up, you can now have enter username or enter name. So you are trying to make this text and this input for it to be center aligned so that this text can be in the middle of this input. So you select these two elements and then you come to our options here that we have position. You align vertical centers. You can see that once you click on this icon, it's moved it has moved this text to be at the middle of the box. If you decide to check, you can see 1211 is at the middle of the box. Then you can input, you can bring in icons here, like a username icon. So there are thousands of ways to bring in icons. If you browse online and then you say icons free or download icons, see this first one here, these flat icons. You can choose any icon that you feel like is beautiful in your eye. But let us just choose the first one you are seeing here. So I want to put a kind of a username icon here, a profile kind of icon. So I'm going to search and I want it to be outline regular. So I'll click on regular. So I'm seeing the icon I want here. But if I'm not seeing the icon, I can just click here and search on the icon I want and it will appear. So say this one is home. You search for home. And then you see all different types of home. You can just click on it, you copy and you put on your Figma board. So, but I want to use, I'm looking for profile, um, a profile icon. Let's go back to where it was. Okay, let me search instead. All right, see the user icon. Where I just saw this thing now. Anyway, let's search. All right, so I just click on this particular one and then I click on SVG. It's downloading. Okay, so once I just go to the download, I click on it. So for me to be able to import the file, the icon that I just downloaded, I click on this import image or video and then I click on the icon and download. So that's one way of downloading icon. I'm going to show you another way also. So once I download this icon, you can see how large it is. So I want to reduce this icon to be very small. And then I click on K, like keypad. On my keypad, I click on K so that it can be able to scale proportionally. So as the left is reducing, the right is also reducing. That is how you can reduce like either an image or an icon for it to be proportional. So I want to make it to be like 16. So you can see the width here is changing. 13 is on 13. I want to make it to be 16. And then I select the icon and the text so that once I click on this align vertical, the icon can now go to the middle of the triangle. So I want to adjust this so that it can just be so you can see now we've created our first input tag and I want to change this first icon to have to be kind of ash, so that it's not entirely black. Okay. So we create our first input tag, our first input. So since it's still going to have the same layout with our password, we can just group it. We select all these elements and then we can right click on it and select group selection, or you can click on Control G or Command G. So once you select this group collection, like everything is now grouped, and if you are moving it, everything is moving and and together. So once you've grouped this particular and you want to make another input that looks like this, you just click on it and you right click. You can click on duplicate to duplicate this frame. Either Control D. Once you click on Control D or Command D, that duplicated this same frame. So you can see that this frame, this input, our input tag is now double. But for the second one, we want to make it a password, not username. So we change it to be password. Okay, you can ask your question. Gemini gift.
Okay. Hello. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Please, my question is the enter name and the icon. I want to ask, how did you use auto layout to align it together? I didn't get that place correctly.
We haven't spoken about auto layout. We are
Oh,
just trying to design a flat design presently.
okay,
But it
okay,
was grouped, it's grouped I did. I grouped everything together.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So this next one is password. And then for password, we can just do as always I've said. So since it's password, we want to change the icon to look like a password field because we cannot use the same user icon for password. That means we have to go to our password, to our icon site and request for icon. But another way of getting icons too, you can click out of your on your canvas, and then this option of plugins, you can see the different icons. Praise, you can speak. Okay. On this plugin site, you can see the different plugins that I've already installed before. So if you want to install a new plugin, you click on plugin and then you click on manage plugin, and then you can search for any plugins you want to use, because there are plugins that give icons, there are plugins that give illustrations, or even texts, free text. Whatever plugin, you can just keep on searching on your Google plugins that you can use from Figma. So once you find any plugin you want to use, you click on manage plugins, and then you can search for plugins that you want to install on your Figma. For this particular one, I've installed this remove background. It's for removing background of images. Whatever plugins you want to install, you can install it. But for this icon, if you want to look for plugins that are for icons, you can see this first one, Iconify. Once you click on it, it shows you different plugins that you can use and different icons that you can use. But then sometimes all these icons can be paid. So if it's hard for you to get icons from all this style, you can just continue using your Google from the free version. So we can go to where we found the profile site and then look for an icon that is kind of relating to passwords. So you can see one here is like block. So you click on it and SVG, you download it. So once you download it, you come here, you look for what you downloaded, image or video, and recent lock. So you click on the K I spoke about, so reduce it proportionally, and then you reduce. So you place it here. I want to reduce it to like 16. And then the color is this color. You just copy it. You click on here, copy the color that was there, and click on the elements you want to change and paste the color. So since I'm creating a new input tag, I can ungroup it. I right click on the element and click on ungroup, so that I can easily access the different elements. So once I click on it, I will now delete this particular one and paste it. But another way of doing it is that you can just click on it, click on the one you want to paste, copy, then you click on the side that you want to replace it with, and you click on paste to replace, and it changes. So you delete this one. So now we've created the password. We've created the password input tag. So we can change this to like G5. So this for this input to be on the brown color, it means that it's showing that this input is showing the developer that this is how it's going to appear when a user is typing on a particular input. So that means if it's going to appear like this, it's showing that this input is on active state. That means you have to change this color of the input here to show that it's on active state. And most times, once you are typing on an input field, it's not it's going to be brighter than before. So you can make it to be like semi-bold to show that this is the current um input that is currently active. So we can just make it so like the user is already typing on this particular one. Then while here is just showing when it's not active. So this is how this is different between this first one and the second one. So once we've done this one, we want to now create our login button. So we make it the same width with what was there. The height there, the height of this input is 45. So we make our button also to be 45. Then the radius is 5. We'll make it also to be 5. Then our brand color from here is 5A. We just copy it and then we paste it here. So we want to put in the text of this button. So we click on this T and then we click on here and then we put login. So you want this login to be at the center of this box. We highlight the two elements and then we click on align horizontal. It's on the horizontal, is at the center of the box. Then we click on align vertical. It will come up. So is now this login is now entirely at the center of this. So I hope you guys are following. So we can now decide to group everything to be one. So you can see our login screen is coming gradually. Then remember that in most login screens, you can also have forget password. So we just duplicate this text to put our forget password. The duplicates. You can right click on it. I don't know why the option of duplicate is not showing. but you can click on Control D or Command D, and then I duplicated it. So on this right side is forgot password. So since you want this forgot password to be right aligned, you come here and then you just click on this align right, and it's aligned to the right. Then you want users to be able to select remember me too. In case of any, you can click on remember me. You can allow users to be able to select the option of remember me if they want to. So I want it to be left aligned. We select here to be aligned left. And now there's a checkbox for so for remember me, we'll put that later. Then below it, I want to, for people who don't have an account, they can decide that they can now sign up if they don't have an account. And most times, because you've created a frame and then it's short, you can adjust the length of the frame, but you cannot adjust the width. So the reason of adjusting the length is that, on your phone you can scroll down, but you cannot scroll sideways. And scrolling sideways is not really a good experience. So once you have designed it and then you realize that what you are trying to do is not going to contain the initial height of the frame, you can just adjust it. So if you are adjusting, you hold your control, you click on your control and you hold it down and select it and drag it down. That it does not affect the elements that are already inside. Because if you don't do this and you want to just click on and drag it, these elements inside can be affected. So it's important for you to hold your control and then you adjust the height of your frame. So on this place, you want to make it to be at the bottom. So you can click on this and take it to the bottom, this position, this align button. You can click on it and then it takes it to this bottom of the frame. But if it's still down for you, you can just increase it a little bit for it to come up. To be like 16. Then you type, don't have an account, register now. Can expand it for it to be straight. Then for it to be aligned to the middle of the frame, you click on this align horizontal. Then you click on this for it to be aligned, for it to align at the center of this frame. And you can click on the bottom one for it to come down. So let's make it to be 16. So you can see it's around at the center. They want to make this register now to be more obvious than the other text. So we select the register side, and then it's currently on regular. We can make it to be like on bold, then change the color to like 1, 2, or if you like, you can still use the brown color. So you use the brown color. So you can notice that I'm using a color picker here to pick my brown color. So I can just click on this color picker and then pick any color that I want to pick. And it's going to reflect. So let's make it center again. And then 16. But I'll prefer to use black instead of this brown color. So the check button, the check icon. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, I have seen this. Okay. Let's just use this one. And then we'll adjust it. So SVG download. Hmm. To import the check that we downloaded, just like the same process we've done before. Then you click on your key to adjust proportionally. You bring it in. There's actually an icon that is for check, but since I don't want to waste time looking for it, you can just design our own. For this check, we can put the rectangle, and you can see that this rectangle is on top of the check. If you want to make it to be on like behind it, you right click on this and click on send to back. So we can now see our check. You can make it a little bit smaller, increase the radius. You can change it to be 1, 2, then this is going to be right. Okay. Then we want to make this to be at the middle. You select the two elements. You now click on align horizontal and align vertical. So it's not even showing. Okay, because it's not proportional. Where's the face? Yeah. And reduce it to 8.
Sorry, I got lost at that. Remember me. Can you?
What's the icon? Is it on the icon?
Yes, yes. The icon and the entire. Remember me.
Okay. From the icon side, we went to search for the goods that we can use. So there's icon for actually check. Like we don't have to start designing it from our side and from the scratch. You can just look for check icon and use. But since I cannot find it here, I decided to use this good and then downloaded it and put the okay, let me just design it here again. So I bring in the good that I have already downloaded and put it. So to resize it, you click on K and then make it to be smaller. 16. And then you want to now with this put in the box. You click on rectangle and then you draw the rectangle. So you want to bring rectangle to be below this thing. So since this good, so since as they are bringing it below it, it's now covering the good. You want to make the rectangle to be behind the good. So you click on it and then you click on send to back. So your good is now on top of. So you now try to adjust it for it to now be at the middle of you can see you can increase, you can put the radius to be like this 4. Then this is too big. We have to reduce it to like 8. Then so I mentioned that if you want to reduce something to be proportional, you click on K on your keypad But if you want to take it back to normal, you click on V. So once you click on V, you'll be able to reduce it like based on the normal way of reducing an element. This is too big. Let's make it just 2, and then you make it smaller. We are trying to redesign it so you can see this one here is on 1616. So for you to now center these two things, you select the tool frame and then you click on align horizontal and you click on align vertical to make it at the middle. All right. So I think that is it for this sign up page. Then we can decide to for this login page, and we can design to design a screen for forget password. So once you click on this screen, you can duplicate. So you can click on Control D or Command D. Once you click on it, that's duplicated to a second frame, and it's taking the same property that you created in the first one is going to appear here. But for this particular one, we want to design for forgot password. Then this one can be, this forgot password can be like smaller. You can make it smaller. This one can be extra big. I need this one so extra big. Then let's make it smaller, like 24. Then yeah, the same is 18, so you make it also 18. Forgot password. All right. So you want to, since you forgot password, you can just eliminate all of this parts, and then we'll make this same distance be the same 40. Distance from this text, from this input tag to the text is 40. So we keep it consistent also here to 40. Then the distance from this button to this is 28. And let's increase it to like 32. So we keep it the same distance here to 32. And then on this place, we request for the email. Your email account, and then reset password. Or and just submit. Then you double click on these two things to make it to the center. Center horizontal, center vertical. So it's now in the middle. And since it's email, you can just want to give an example of how the email will be like. Then this is messing, blah, blah, blah. Then still on email, the icon will have to change because it's email. So we go back to look for an email icon. Okay, the same one. I think I'll be using regular here, not good. So on my email, then download for the locals. maybe it's a network. You can decide to go out and come in. And be able to see my screen. So you reduce also, if you click on K and then you make it to be smaller proportionally. Make it to be, I'll go this one so that's this is 16. Why is it looking like full? How can I say regular? The first one I downloaded was bold. So I want it to be the same styling with all our initial icons. So that you don't tend to use one regular and then you now use bold on some fonts. So once you want to use regular fonts, mean that throughout the application you will have to also use regular. You cannot use bold on some and come again and use regular. You make it proportional for you to reduce, and it has to be on 16. So we can change the color. The color is copy the color code and then we paste it. So since we want to change this icon, you click on the icon you want to change it to and select the option of copy. Then you go to this side and click on paste to replace, and then it replaces it. You delete it. So you can see, okay, since this page is coming from this page, we have to input our back icon. And we can look for like back icon. You can either use this one and rotate it, or we find a arrow that is already directing back. But let's make use of this one. What this one is? That's the regular one. Let us use this first one. We download it and then we import it. Alright, this whole icons thing might be looking stressful, but with time, if you can get all your whole icons in one place on your Figma file, it's very easy for you to be getting icons. Like me personally, I have my icons. Let me show you the one I always use. So you can see here, I like already have my icons here. So I don't have to go through the stress of checking on Google to search for icons. So I did not want to use this one so that we can understand how to search for icons on our own. But if you have all your icons in one place, you don't have to, start downloading one by one and going through that long process. But since we are starting from scratch, I want to, teach on how to source for icons. That's why I'm using the Google font. So we click on K to reduce it proportionally. You're trying to show that it's coming from this page. So since it's showing like this, you can rotate it. You can make it, you can just click here and you put 180 degrees. Then you can continue reducing it to like reduce, like 30. So you can see, like a user comes from this page and then they click on forget password and then it leads them to this page. So this arrow is meaning that once it shows that once they click on this arrow, it takes them back to the login screen. So that's the essence of this arrow. Then I think we are done. Okay, we don't need this one here. We delete it. So I think we are done with this particular design of this particular two frames. Then that is that about designing. So if we want to, this is forget password. So sometimes if we want to show our front end and developers like how the flow is going to be like, because once you are trying to design for an application, you are going to have numerous of these frames. They are just still here because they're just trying to do for signing. But if it's a full blown mobile application, you can have like hundreds of these frames. So I want to show developers how the flow is going to be like, how the user journey is going to be like. That is where you now have to use prototyping. So on this side, you can see that we are on the design side. But if you want to prototype, you click on this prototype section, and then it's showing that, okay, let's say we'll just prototype just these two. This is the first screen. So we want that once the user click on forget password, we want to take them to this next screen. So you can see once you click on it, it's showing on click, trigger, navigate to this forget password, instant, then you close. So once you click on forget password, it takes to this next screen. And you want to also show that once you click on this arrow icon, you should go back to this first screen. So let us play it and see how it's going to show us. So this is the first screen. So you want to show that, okay, you can see that once you're hovering on this forget password, the icon is changing, that this place is clickable. So like even if they click on another place on the screen, it's highlighting the forget password to tell them that this is the only place that you want to speak another thing.
Yes, ma. This password, is it editable? Can you edit it as we are working on it now?
Yes.
Like
can
the main password, like where the password icon is, not forget password. Yes, can you edit it like that?
This one.
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
So it's like once they are clicking on the part that is not linked, it's showing that this is the only place that is clickable. You can see this light blue background on this side. So once they click on it, it takes them to the next screen. And then it shows once they click on this back one. So this is like a very simple prototyping I've shown you guys. So I hope you guys actually learned a little bit of this Figma. So for the Adobe XD, like I think someone has been asking about Adobe XD. So I have difficulty download using it for this class because Adobe XD is paid, like I mentioned, and I've exhausted my free version initially. So I'll not be able to use it because for you to use Adobe XD, you have to use like 1 month free version, and I've exhausted it previously. So I cannot pay for, it's really very expensive. So for the rest of the course, we are going to be using Figma. Tony wants to say something. Paula.
Ma, please, it's a question.
All right.
Please, the arrow on that forgot password page, is it also considered as an icon?
Yes, it's an icon.
Okay, ma, thank you.
Or is it because it's bigger? It's an icon, yes. Like we still got it from the same icon.
But there is an arrow line in part of the tools in Figma. I use that one instead.
Which one?
Where you have line, square, so there's an arrow.
This.
Yes.
Yeah, you can use it. You can use it, but I've never even thought about using it before.
Okay.
But you can use it. Yeah. If you like the styling, you can see the difference between the styling and the styling. Like when it comes to icons, it's just based on what you like. There are some people that will see this
But you
icon.
can still adjust the width. I just
Yes,
tried it now.
you can
The
adjust it, but
the line.
yes, you can adjust it. But there's still difference between this styling. You can see this curve at the end. It's not appearing yet. So it's just based on how you want your how. You can still use it based on how you want your icons. So there is no particular roadmap to this. Who else wants to speak?
I have a question now.
All right.
Please, are we going to be like diving into prototyping? Like, I thought if we'll be having a class on it, a
Yes,
particular class on prototyping.
yeah, there's a class on prototyping.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, who else wants to speak?
One more, please.
Sorry?
What
Okay,
about
go on.
animation?
Animation.
Yes.
I can't know. That is like advanced design. But
Okay, okay.
yeah, but if we have time, we can go through it just a little bit. Okay, does anybody else have any question? Jacinta, you're raising your hand. If you don't have, you can stop raising your hand.
Please, ma'am. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Please, ma'am, how did you change the position of this arrow? I'm lost. You know, it was facing front before. How did you make it go back, like navigate?
Okay, by rotating it. Let me bring it. Let me um bring it in again. So it was like this initially. You press on K. Who is unmuted? Okay. You press on K to reduce it.
Okay.
And I think this one is 30. Okay. You can make it 30 too. Then you can see like once you hover on this arrow here, you can see this rotate is changing to rotating. So you start by rotating it round. But then there are still icons that you find that are already showing in this direction. So you can see another icon. So I'm trying to save time for start looking for particular icons. So you can see on this side, you can now adjust on this side here, you can now adjust the rotation to be exactly on 180. So it's on 180 now.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Who else want to ask something? Daniel.
Okay, ma, please. How do you download your icon kit?
My icon
Your
key.
icon kits, like how do you get them? Your icons.
Okay, I searched on Google. So there's this, you can also use this flat icon, or you can just use icons free because there are icons that are paid. So that you have to put the free to get the free versions of the icons. So there are different types of icons there. You can select from free icons, flat icons, free pick, font awesome icon. There are so many icons on Google that are free. But I use this flat icon for this class. So whichever one you want to use, so you can see all the whole icons I have there. Yeah, it's showing is bold. I want it to be on regular. I click on regular, it's on regular. I want it to be solid. I click on solid. So you can use any icons you want here.
All right, thank you, ma.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good evening, ma. Ma, I want to ask, how can we know the difference and the distance rather between okay, for example, the username that we did and then the password? How can we know yes, ma, the distance between them?
Yeah, you can click on options. So once you click on options, you can see, although like if you're currently on your system, you click on options, it tells you the distance. This is distance 20. Distance for you to the frame 18, 18, 18, left 18, right 18, down 17. Do you get?
Yes, my options, that's for MacBook. I'm using Windows.
Okay. Ah, it's no longer use. Let me search.
For Windows is Alt.
Okay. Thank
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, ma.
So anybody else have any question? I think somebody was asking about auto layouts. So say we want to create a sign up screen, for example. A sign up, what will be the sign up? Create account, for example, and then um actually a picture. So we created the first one, and maybe the first one is your first name, and then you want to create other inputs to be like first name, last name, email. So you highlight, you see like all these elements, they are single, they are all they are all like single, like it's not grouped. So you can highlight all the whole input tab, and then you right click on it, you select frame selection. So once it's in frame, you want to now create this same thing. For you to be able to create your last pass, your last name, your email address, then password, you duplicate, Control D, duplicate, and then you take it down. Distance from this to this should be like 20. So this is a frame, and this is a frame. If you highlight these two frames, you can now make it an auto layout. You can see this layout here. This first one resize to fit. This second one, this second option we have here on this my right panel. The second option we have here on the layout section is use auto layout. So you click on it, and then these two frames are now on auto layout. So once you click on this, like any of the frames, and you duplicate, it's going to be in the same distance with what was distance between this and this is 20. Distance between your third layout and this is 20. That is what trying to create your design on auto layout. So it makes the whole process faster rather than trying to create it one by one by one. It just makes the whole process faster. And then you can just come to each of them, and then you now change it according to, and now say yes password. You can see how we are just able to create these 4 input tab just within split seconds. We want to change this to this. So you can see This is for create accounts. So this whole frame is like an auto layout frame. So whatever you duplicate inside is going to be the same distance with the new one that is being created. So that's just a brief introduction of the auto layout. Does anybody have any question? You can decide to change all of this later to have like the same. Just unmute and speak.
Hello, sorry, please. I don't understand the auto layout aspect.
Like you see why I do not want to talk about it because there's actually a class on auto layout.
Okay,
I was just trying to anyway. Let me do it again.
thank you.
Okay. I think some of us are already advanced in this design. That's why we tend to ask questions that are above what I'm teaching. But let's go over this again. So we want to create an auto layout. So you've already created this one before. So we'll just duplicate it. And then we bring here this spot and make it to be at the middle. So this is a different element. This is a different element. This is a different element. So we are trying to create an input tag that is exactly like this same styling. So for create accounts, you always have first name, you put your last name, you put your email, you put your password. So you are going to have input tag, say about 4, that will be in this same styling. So you select all of these elements that you want to, you are trying to recreate, and then you put them into a frame. So you right click on the elements, and you can see the option of frame selection. So you select on frame selection, and then you can see that it's already on a frame. So once it's on a frame, you want to now create this same frame. So this first one is say first name. So you want to replicate this so that you can also do for last name, you can also do for email, you can also do for password. So you duplicate it and then you bring it down. This time between here is 20. So for you to try to reduce the process of trying to duplicate and bring down, trying to duplicate and bring down, you can now say, okay, this first one is a frame 1. Second one is a frame. You highlight these 2 frames, you select the 2 frames, and then you come to this right section of your panel. You can see this layout here. The first icon here is resize to fit. It's not that one I'm going to use for today. We are going to use this use auto layout. So once you click on it, meaning that these 2 frames are now auto layout. So the distance between this first frame and the second frame is 20. So if you decide to create a third frame, it's always going to be 20 distance because 2 of them are already on auto layout. So you select one frame and you duplicate it, Control D. You can see it's on still 20. Duplicate again, 20. Duplicate again, 20. So you can see we are duplicating the same frame just within seconds because they are all on auto layout. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Does anybody have any other question? Before we go through I mentioned that we can use the ending part of the class to go to people that are still having difficulty downloading Figma. So if we don't have any questions, we can look at people that are still having difficulty downloading Figma. So we don't have any questions, right? All right. So um the rest of us like still having some issue with downloading Figma. Can we bring it forward so we can see if we can resolve it today? Joyce, please you can unmute and speak.
Okay, sorry. Good evening. Please I want to I've tried it again today. It has been installed. I think I'll just turn on my camera and show the screen and just show what is happening.
Okay.
Mm.
I think I can stop recording now.
Mhm. I don't know if you can see the screen.